Hello everyone, I'm Angie of New Path Tarot. Today we're going to do a reading on careers. So if you are somebody who works and if you are somebody who is maybe looking for a job change or a career change, anything like that, then this one is for you. Will I find a new career soon? In the interviewing stages, searching for a job, waiting to hear back about a job, needing to get a job, or switching to a spiritual type of career. Those are a lot of questions that I see a lot when people come for a reading. So I'm going to go ahead and address that now. So we're going to do the famous Angie style of picking your own selection of cards. And just so go ahead, tune into your intuition, take a deep breath, make sure you're free of distractions and you're able to focus in on your career situation. And let me take a minute while I shuffle to just kind of allow you to do that. Okay. So the first one we are going to do is psychic vision. So close your eyes. I'm going to keep shuffling while you do this. Close your eyes and start to notice the space out in front of you in the darkness. If you notice anything come to you visually, be it a word, a number, symbols, or anything else. And if you don't notice anything, or you have already, when you close your eyes, you're seeing shadows of things from the surrounding room when your eyes were open, that's fine. This is just a skill I want to put out there in case it's something that you're wanting to develop. This is a technique for you to be able to do so. The next one we're going to do is psychic feeling. So you can close your eyes or keep them open for these other techniques. It's just that the vision one you generally want to have your eyes closed for. So the one where we do feeling, you might have a sensation that you feel through your body. It could also be in another way for you, but that's generally the way it works. So close your eyes, take a deep breath if you'd like to. Now for this reading, I'm going to do 4 piles. So I would like you to kind of put it in your mind. I'm going to be saying the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And whichever one, if you have a feeling with that one, then that's going to be the one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one is knowing, psychic knowing. So if you just feel like I know it's a certain number, then that one is the one to take note of. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last one is why do I always do this on the last one? Where I'm like, I lose my train of thought. Hearing, psychic hearing. Okay, this is a perfect example. So I'm like sitting here going, what is it? And I have this thought in the back of my mind that's like, oh, this is so frustrating how I do this. Maybe I should write it down. And that way I can just look at it really quick and not have to sit here and like search my brain for it. And so that's going on in the background. And then I hear the word hearing. It's in my voice in my head though. So I'm like, I thought the word hearing. And I'm like, oh, I'm so smart. I thought of it finally. Well, that's the way psychic hearing works also. Sure, it could be a thought in your head, but when something pops in your head randomly, it could also be psychic hearing. And it's so hard to differentiate because it's that the crossover is just such a fine line and you don't know which one's which. So was it that I just remembered, oh yeah, hearing, or was it that the way the psychic hearing works, it was like hearing? You see how different that is. So that's how it's going to work for you. When I say 1, 2, 3, 4, remember there's like a pause and then boom, you'll hear either in your voice or in mine, because I'm the one speaking the numbers, you're 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's a great way to explain it, or a great example of how it applies in real life. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Did you hear anything? Okay, so those are how you develop those skills in a very simple way. So whatever number you picked, my disclaimer is this is a timeless reading that anytime you feel compelled to watch it, whether now or in the future, it's applicable at that time. You can watch it multiple times in the future or for multiple situations. Like if you're wanting to watch it for, will I get this job and should I change my career path, you're going to want to listen to it 2 different times so that you can address both issues separately, because you might hear 1 for one and 3 for another. What's the other thing? I've said this in another video, so I want to say it again. When you're watching one of these pile readings, you want to look for something that lets you know that it's accurate for you. So I might say a keyword or something that you know is significant to you, that speaks to you. If you don't get that, I'm not saying it's still not valid, but it just really is clear when you have that, when you get that during a reading. And so if there is any doubt that the reading might not be for you, that's a good time when you're going to want to either do a self-reading or order a reading to look at yours specifically, because we have no idea who's going to watch this video now or in the future. So when it's a general reading for so big of a group of people, you just really can't address each and every single person. Okay, pile 1 starting now. 7 minutes. Writing this down so I don't have to go back through it. As much as I love to go through my own videos, I just don't have the time. Pile 1. 7, let's do 7, 15, 20. I know I'm weird. Okay, pile 1, here are your cards. I'm gonna shuffle with the intention that these are for pile 1. I'm recording. Okay. And one more. All right, ready? Yes. Okay. So let's talk about your career. This is something that's moving so fast you can barely hold on. Like you're just like holding on to the reins in driving. You're like white knuckle driving. I get the analogy of you're driving through the snow and you're driving on ice, and you are so dedicated and you are so focused, and you're so aware in the moment that you have the radio off. It's also like if you're trying to get to the gas station because you're on empty, you turn off the AC, you roll up the windows, and you're like, get to the gas station, just get me to the gas station. And then you pull in and you're at the pump and you're like, oh, thank God. And then you're at the pump and it says broken, it's got a bag over the handle, and you're like, oh my God, please just get me to the next one, or I'm gonna have to push it. So this is the analogy I'm getting for you, is you have that extreme focus. And I feel like you're somebody who actually is content in your job, or should I not say content? Because you're probably not watching a video if you're content in your job, unless you're wanting to know like promotion or expansion or something like that. Like I said, it applies to a wide selection of people. But for you, I feel like you're on a career path. You're on the right track, and you are good at what you do. You want to stick with it, if not this specific place or group of people, etc. What you might be wanting to do is keep in the same field but go somewhere else. So this is just basically saying who you are as an employee, not so much your job per se, but you have great drive, great self-motivation. You're a career person. You put your career first. You're maybe a workaholic. You might not have kids because you've decided I'm going to be a career person and I'm not going to have kids. Or it's just that you're so focused on your career that it hasn't happened for you yet. Or you might have kids, but you have somebody who is caretaking for them, be it like a nanny or a relative or your significant other. So you are not the primary caretaker and you're able to focus on your career. And it's like you go to work in the morning, you work all day, you come home, and you are able to have dinner on the table and have your clothes washed for you and, you know, all that sort of thing so that you can be the career person. Not to say if you have a significant other, they don't also work, but not to say you don't chip in and around the house, but it's just that that's what I'm kind of getting. You kind of feel like you have a masculine energy about you, even if you are a woman. You feel like you could be self-employed, so you don't have a 9 to 5 per se, but you work just as hard as if you do. If you are not self-employed, you'd be really great at it. So if that's something you were considering, and I got all that just from the Chariot, one card. It always depends, but Chariot is a very telling card when you're talking about career. If I were doing a reading today, like sometimes I do, where I'm like, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, I'm going to let the cards decide, and Chariot came up, I'd probably be talking about career. So I guess it's a good time that we're going there. All right, let's see what else. World reversed. So I wanted, in my mind, I didn't say it out loud, I wanted to go to the topic of not who you are as a career person, but what might be coming up for you. So I got world reversed, but I am gonna go ahead and pull some more for context, because I'm not getting anything off the top for that. Okay, where else do I want to go? I want to keep this pile separate. No, I need a clear. No. What are you trying to tell me by... Everything is kind of a clue while you're doing a reading. Okay. Alright, so I'll show you the cards. I feel like I want to show the cards today. Like you already saw the world reversed. Four of Pentacles. Just look at the imagery. You know, somebody holding on very tight to what they have. And because there's multiple people watching it, I'm getting multiple things for what that could be. And Three of Cups reversed. All right, very quickly, very easy. You might not like the people you work with, your coworkers or people you interact with. With this one, you could be, just like I said, you might be like white knuckle driving kind of analogy, holding onto the reins for dear life because things are just, yeah, you might be like overburdened and stuff at work. So that's going back to the Chariot card. So you're like just balls to the wall, going for it. Like, I've got a stack of piles of paper on my desk. I have to keep on top of this. I have a deadline. I don't know how you have time to watch this, you know, that kind of thing. I wouldn't say you're overworked. It's just that you're very busy with work, at work. You might even be bringing your stuff home and working on it at home. So yeah, this kind of would imply like maybe you make a commission, or you have a type of job that you could lose it if you're not performing well. Maybe it's very competitive or something. So I am seeing, that's why I wanted to pull more cards. I am seeing something negative or something that's a challenge, or, you know, that could potentially be coming up. And it would be different for everyone. And I'm not sure what it could, I'm not feeling anything with it as to say anything with it. You might even be aware of what it is that I'm talking about. Having to do with holding on to your job and having to do with your coworkers. Maybe, you know, a clash or just a disliking of. You might go to work and pretend like, oh, hey, how you doing? But internally you're like, asshole, you know. So that's the kind of vibe I'm getting for you. Let's see what else we get. Hello. I'm back. I want to talk to you again. No, I'm just kidding. Be quiet, Chariot. We already talked about you. Why are you coming back out? Or making your presence known to me again? Because that's where it was when I split it. If cards do come back up, it's like basically really setting it in stone, like saying, really pay attention to me. Okay, this is more indication of that disconnect in career with other people. More heavy though. The Three of Cups reversed was like me getting that intuitively with coworkers. This is bigger than that. This might be your boss. Like your employer might be somebody, or even your boss's boss. It might be going down the chain. So it's like the person directly ahead of you is getting, having issues with the person ahead of them, and therefore it's coming down on you, and they're putting the pressure on you. Like, look, the boss man says this has to happen, so I'm really counting on you to make this happen. And I'm getting the feeling of you being underpaid and overworked. Know your worth. Did you get a promotion or a raise that you're due for this year? Because you are going to need to stand your ground and say, hey, I'm worth more than this. I deserve this. I'm putting in overtime. I'm doing this and this. So you need to be more, because this is like somebody who, whatever, I'm not teaching tarot today. This is basically sticking up for yourself and putting yourself first in regards of, it's really specific. Putting yourself first in that if you're somebody who makes excuses for your job, like you're making excuses for why you don't want to ask for a raise. One example could be, oh, the company's not doing that well this year or something, so I don't want to ask for a raise because the company is hurting. Well, that's not your problem. You as an employee deserve adequate compensation. Okay, so I'll stop your reading there. I don't feel like you are on the track to change jobs. If you are staying in the same field, not changing the field, but maybe changing where you work. But I don't even see that. I'm just saying it's a possibility that would be for you, as opposed to all out quitting or all out just changing in general. If you're somebody who is in the things I said, you know, you're interviewing, you're searching. I don't feel that for you guys either, or you're waiting to hear something back about, will I get this job? I don't really feel that for your group at all. So if you are in that category though, I will say it's a really good indication that because you're such a hard worker, and if you present yourself that way and they say, hey, what are your strengths? You could say, I'm a really hard worker. And just sell your strengths and be honest and don't be modest, and just really sell yourself. And if those are characteristics you need to develop in yourself, be that, because employers deserve to have an employee that gives a crap and dedicates themselves, and when you're there, and that kind of thing. But don't be one of those people that does it to a point where you're neglecting your family, or you are going in at work on sick days and things like that. Like, it's not that serious. You need to take a mental health day every now and then. You can use your vacation time, you know, things like that. Keep yourself as a priority. Keep your family as a priority. So I'm pretty sure you get what I'm saying. If those are things that apply to you, then this is absolutely your reading. Okay? Group 2. Pile 2 begins at, let's say, I'm going to say 1930. I'm still getting down how to do these transitions. I'm waiting for 1930 now. Okay, group 2, moving on to you. Oh, can I help if I use the whole deck, right? I'm like, why is this so thin? But we're missing out on so much by using half of it. And one more. focus in on your situation if you haven't already. If I forget to say that, then you know, and you watch my videos, just know that's what you're supposed to be doing while I shuffle. You don't just sit here and watch me. You have homework to do. I said one more and then I did two. You needed it. You needed that shovel. I'm going to put that to the side. I didn't feel like that was where I wanted it to break. And if that is your card, I'm sorry. That's not a good card to have. Ew, that's not a good card either. Ew. I really don't want those first two cards to be for you, honestly. Okay. Putting that to the side. That's good. So you got good and bad. Ooh, I'm already kind of feeling what that one is about anyway. Okay. Are you ready? Let's start. I'll start with the good news first. Well, bad news to good news, but not dwelling on the bad. These are bad cards financially. This, wherever it went, is a good job for stability. This is a good card to have reversed. Hopefully you're not hearing impaired. I suck at sometimes saying the cards, and I'm trying to be mindful of that. But yeah, for your Six of Pentacles, look at the image. You see a man who is, let me just say it like this. I hope you're the one in the position to give charitably, and you're not the one in need of the charity. But if you are, that's where you are, and work with that. That's fine. But if you are in the place to give charity, then hopefully you're doing so in some capacity. If you're feeling called to help somebody out financially, or it could be, where did it go? With shelter or just basic needs type stuff instead of monetarily. This could imply, if you are the one experiencing the hardship, this one is like, if you go to the traditional meaning of the card, it is like extreme poverty. It's like lowest financially you could be, literally could be homeless. So, but this card is good with it, because you know what it's telling you? Hey, you might be broke. You might not have food on the table per se, or just, you know, you're not going out to eat every night or ordering takeout or whatever, or delivery, but you have your basic needs met, to include your home. It's like, okay, look, stop dwelling on what you don't have, and you have a roof over your head. You might not be homeless because you might be able to find somebody that can help you out a little bit. Borrow money for rent, or hey, can we stay with you for a while? Because you might have literally lost your home, and it might not have been due to finances. It might be due to being displaced by natural disaster or something. You might be in a state of transition where you're finding yourself having to relocate or move. Now, we're pulling on career, but what comes first? You have to sleep at night. You have to eat. Your home has to be stable. So let's say, for example, maybe this is talking about career and not your home whatsoever. Like you have a stable home. That's not a problem. Maybe even your finances aren't that bad. It could be that specifically career, the job isn't panning out. You could be losing the job. The company itself is struggling and it's affecting you. You might be having to make a commission and you're not making it. The sales just aren't there. It's a dead time. It's like you're going to work and you're not getting anything back from it. You could be severely underpaid. You could be this is in pile one. I was saying if you haven't asked for a raise, you need to do so. Well, this one is saying like you might need to go somewhere to a new job to make more money because you're not getting paid what you're worth, and it's just not going to happen. Could be a dead-end job. So if any of this is ringing true for you, you're definitely going to, it's a video, YouTube. No, video. I'm recording. Oh, I do right now? Okay. I have a reading right now. I have to go. Sorry for all that. Yeah, I'll be. Okay, pile 2, I'm back with you. Just to go over the second part of what we were talking about. Just because you guys are the one watching when I had to stop the video, I got 2.5, I'll say why for a half, but I got 2.5 career readings while I was in my intermission. Isn't that funny? I'm doing career readings, and the first one I told her, watch my video that I'm going to be posting, which is this one, and I said, watch pile 1 because that one is the one that's relevant. But then I was like, maybe you want to watch pile 2 also. But then I went back and looked at pile 2, and I didn't think it was for her per se. But then I'm like, well, I'm going to end up talking about it. And she's going to say, well, that was me. I know what you... By the way, if that's you, subscribe to my channel, please. Anyways, and then I did another reading, and she just subscribed to me. And then for her husband, I did a career reading. And the things he was saying, I was like, I'm literally talking about this right now. It's so funny. Okay. So for you guys, though, I literally have no idea what we were talking about at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and say 8 of Wands reversed, the High Priestess, and Queen of Wands reversed are what came up. Okay? Hold on. I want to do something real quick. Okay, I'm back. I was thinking if she was still in the store, I was gonna be like, hey, come on here and say hi real quick, because one of the things we were talking about was her doing a YouTube channel in the future. So anyways, since you're not here, and yeah, come back and we'll do something. We'll both come on here. That'd be funny. Okay, yes. So 8 of Wands, High Priestess, which is the reason why I thought of that, because in your reading we had talked about the High Priestess and how you said that keeps coming up for you. And then Queen of Wands reversed. Okay, so it's hard for me to actually get anything on the cards when they're not visually in front of me. So I'm going to take a minute here just to go through these real quick and find these 3 specific cards. So there's the High Priestess. Okay, we're looking for Queen of Wands and 8 of Wands. The wands are definitely career-related, daily life type stuff. So it doesn't have to be a job per se. Wait, was it an 8 of Wands? Or 10? It was the 10 of Wands, wasn't it? It was this one, wasn't it? But it was reversed. Right? Right? Am I right? I got all confused, you guys. Sorry. And then, where are you, Queen? There you go, Queen of Wands. All right. I wonder if I do want to even say anything about these. Or if I think I want to pull fresh new. Because so much time has passed and I'm so disconnected from pile 2. I'm going to pull again. You guys get to see me flounder live on New Path Tarot. Okay. 4 of Swords. That's a time of needing rest, reflection, meditation, refocus, reassessing. Okay, the Fool. That's like going on a new venture and taking a leap of faith. And when you do that reassessing, then taking what it is that you came up with and going with it. And be mindful of not investing money to do something career related. So some of you watching, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because that might have been what we were talking about earlier. Not really if that was 1 or 2, but let's say pile 2, you are somebody who's like a self-employed person, entrepreneur, work for yourself. You might have something that is available to you that you would have to either subscribe to or invest in, purchase, And it's not the right time to do that, whether it be something that you should do in the future but not yet, or it could be like some kind of scam, something that you're not going to want to put even a penny into. Be really frugal with your investments right now, if that's you. For example, I'll get a call sometimes about somebody saying, oh, would you like to purchase our services? We will get you more exposure on Google. We will basically promote you, make sure your SEO on your website's all good, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just let be what is, you know? Because I'm not trying to like be some kind of big famous tarot reader yet. I mean, maybe one day, but you know, I'm just trying to kind of take my hobby, and this is what I tell a lot of people a lot of time. This is great advice for you guys, pile 2. If you have like a spiritual hobby that you enjoy doing, then when you do something like this is like self-care for you. This is fun for you. Like I was telling her in her reading, this is like your therapy. So it's not that you're doing it for a result, you're doing it for yourself. And as long as that's your motivation, then you're on the right track, because you can't lose anything by doing something that brings you enjoyment and that may potentially bring you readings and stuff in my case. But I don't do this going, I better get some readings out of this today, or, you know, my intentions are whatever happens, happens. All right, so that's it for you guys, pile 2. I am going to move on to pile 3, and I hope you all have a nice day. All right, pile 3, I'm going to write this down, timestamp. All right. Hello, pile 3. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Time to do your reading on career and whatnot. Will you find a new career? If you're interviewing, if you're searching for a job, if you're waiting to hear back on something, if you're needing to switch to spiritual or want to, etc. Okay, whatever your situation is career related, we'll see what comes up for you guys. All right. And here we go. Very good. I love, and I mean love, the Ace of Wands in a career reading. That's what I want to see. Like, if somebody's like, I want to know about career type stuff, I'm like, okay, blah, 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 blah. Boom. Ace of Wands. You're golden. All right, moving on to pile 4. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, yes. Perfect, perfect. However, if it does have a downside, the downside is this is only like the beginning. It's being the first card in the suit, and it is only like an inspiration per se, and not so much a an action. It's like the ace is the inspiration, and the 2 and the 3 and so on start with the actual process of the steps taken to bring that to fruition. Okay. Okay, we got this for the first one. This is another card I really like to see in career readings. It's like things are moving fast, maybe even too fast. So, various examples depending on your situation, like if you are working for someone or if you're working for yourself, okay? But in your case, I'm so far really feeling like you are or should be working for yourself. So if you are working for someone else, you might be feeling drawn to be doing a spiritual career. And if that is the case, then let's get you there. Now, the problem with doing a general reading for somebody who has, that specific issue is that it's too specific of advice given for me to be able to one size fits all. Like, I know that for sure, that this might not come up with much for that. But it does say you'd be good with having partners. So if it's something you need investors for, or if it's something that you need to go in it with people, or if it's something that you need to hire employees for, like any of those things that involve more than just you, like you might be self-employed, but you're like leading a team or something like that, really good indication. If this is verifying that it's you, I would say what you're doing right now, keep on that track. Everything is as it should be. Things look good. I don't see any warning signs. I did catch my eye earlier, and it's here now. I think that's more about your personal life maybe affecting your work. Maybe some kind of past stuff, this 5 of Cups. It doesn't feel work related. It feels like it's just something that might be affecting some of you. Because it could be something like, in your case, I think what it feels like to me is that learning from past mistakes or failures, not allowing them to dictate how you're going to act in the future, because the circumstances are different. So it's not like saying, well, that happened before, so therefore I'm not going to do that now. And it's not like, don't make past things influence your future and be pessimistic about things because of your preconceptions of how things went before. Okay, so I'm going to keep pile 3 really short and sweet, because your guys' it feels like to you it's more like a check-in. But if you are wanting to switch to being self-employed, if you are wanting to switch to being your own boss, having employees, and especially if it's a spiritual career, then that's high indication that you want to shift out of what you're doing, like corporate world or working for someone else, and that you want to shift to what the energy of the reading was showing. Okay? Have a great day. Okay, last but not least, pile 4. Moving on to you guys for career. Will you find a new career soon? You're in the interviewing stages, you're searching for a job, you're waiting to hear back, you're needing a new job, you're switching to a spiritual career, etc. This is for you. Okay. Hanged Man in a career reading is telling me that you are, let me see what else we have first. Yes, okay, that definitely confirms it with the 7 of Swords reversed. You need to change your perspective about career. I don't know what it could be, but it could be something like a wake-up call, in that you need to go get a job in general, or you need to get a different job, or something with your work is not what you're thinking. There's deception involved. You could be the one that's the deception. What are some other examples that it could be? But along those lines, whatever your situation is so it's something I didn't say, but you get the idea. Change of perspective due to potential something not being what it seems. Okay. This would indicate a few things also. One could be that you're long overdue for a career change, or to go back to work. One could be that you already have, but the new thing isn't working like you thought it would. What else? You might need to move for a job, so you're kind of postponing that because you don't want to, per se. What else could it be? I'm seeing health-related issues could be a factor. Sometimes when people are overworked, they have It's like they're running themselves to the ground. That could be a possibility with you as well. Are you maybe doing somebody else's work for them? It reminds me of this idea where you might be, what is it? Back to the Future, when Biff goes to the dad, McFly, I forget his first name, and he's a bully and he tells him to do his homework for him. So it's like, but yeah, it is something kind of like that, where somebody's like having you do their dirty work. It could be like you're doing a job and you want out, kind of like when you see in the movies, like there's some kind of shady job and they say, I'm done, I want out, I don't want to be part of this anymore, I just want to go live a healthy life, a safe life, I have kids to think about now, I don't want to do something that is harmful to my health or like may potentially cause me injury, or something like that is the vibe I'm getting with yours. It's like, I'm getting too old to do this, or I need to think of a new way to do things because this is no longer in my best interest. So you get kind of the vibe I'm getting. Maybe you've even had, see, imagine if you have a job where if you have an injury, you can no longer do your job, and then what do you do? So you need to start thinking like that. If you haven't already, and if you don't have like a backup plan, what can I do if this were to happen where I can't do my job anymore because of something? Because I think in fact, think 5 years. Are you going to be able to do this job in 5 years? Are you going to be able to do this job in 10 years? Think big picture so that you can get the ball rolling on what, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's a little kid playing out there. So they're kind of loud. Anyways, yeah, so it sounds like my house. So you can get the ball rolling, because think about, for me, for example, okay, I've been reading tarot for 20 years. Like that, when you say 20 years, it adds up, because I started in high school, well, like in 2000 I graduated, and pretty much like as soon as I was done with high school, I was on my own, literally, and I felt like getting a tarot deck, and I started learning it, and so now here we are 20 years later, because it's 2020. Oh my god. So yeah, you want to have that credibility behind the amount of years that you're doing something. You want to be able to say, I've done this for X amount of years, but you don't want to wait to do it. You want to start now. Start doing the other thing while you're doing this other thing, the thing, because you want to be able to start racking up the time. Even if you're not fully 100% devoted to it, you just want to get the ball rolling. You want to start making connections and meeting people in that field and that sort of thing. But I do see you needing to leave your current situation sooner rather than later. I see you having to, by not because you want to, but because something kind of, and I see you kind of being like sad about it and being like, oh, I wish it could have worked out, but and I can see you maybe even being like mad at the universe, like, why did this happen to me? Things were so great and now look at this, something. But yeah, there's something that might push you out of your current career path that you're on that is outside of your own control. So at the time, it's like a blessing in disguise for you. It's like you might be like, oh, this is the worst thing that could have happened, but in hindsight, you'll look back and say, that had to happen. That was really good, because I wasn't going to make the change on my own, so it's like I had to be forced into it. Okay, I'm not getting more for you guys. That's it. So if you watched pile 4 and none of that worked for you, maybe it's not your reading. But if you picked up, see, you can pick and choose, take it with a grain of salt as far as advice goes, but if it is literally your situation, then that's high indication that not only is your intuition spot on, but the universe is talking to you. So just listen. All right, peace.